I don't know what
Hey
you're
guys,
talking
we're
about.
live here today. Guess what, Eric? It's Q intro time.
Oh my god.
Welcome to Alley Ridge, your tech news, Monday through Friday. Make sure you subscribe and click the bell icon to stay up to date with all your tech news and more. Now with your host, Trevor Barnes.
And Eric Davidson.
Just trying to add me into
I know
the
you
intro.
can't hear, but I hear.
I can't hear you guys. You didn't give me headphones or anything.
I can't. You can't listen to this. It's delayed.
Oh, that's annoying. That's annoying. But anyway, guys, we are live today on today's video of the news show, which I guess has just been our working name so far. We're live, though. We're going to say that a ton of times in this show.
We're live.
We're live. But we haven't really done any live shows on this channel before. I mean, I did one.
We did one together. We did the Apple WWDC
so
live coverage, which was a fantastic live show. Go look it up.
So there's been a whole 2 live shows. This will be the 3rd one because I did
responsible
one.
for 2 of them.
What was the second one? Because
I'm saying the last one. And this
Oh,
one.
okay, gotcha. Because I did a live show once before. It was not very good. Wasn't really prepared for it. And then we did a show, and this is our 3rd show. We hope to introduce a lot more live coverage in the future. Really fine-tune our whole setup process, as well as how we make these videos. But this is a working concept. Let us know if you're like the idea of live coverage. You know, as the train behind our studio.
We'll pay
passes
attention to
by.
the super chat and everything.
Yeah, okay. Because people are going to be sending us money for the super
People
chat.
comment. You better send us money.
Or just comment, like the video, subscribe, you know, do what you got to do.
How do you think the bills get paid around here? Super chat.
Super chat.
Right.
Anyway, so I thought we did this live show today. You know, we've launched the news show this week. And I did a whopping I made a cameo in one news show. I think that was on Tuesday. Or else Trevor's been really working on the news show. And I gotta say, you know, Trevor, this first week of the news show, you know, it's been coming out pretty well.
It's been a challenge in some regards. I mean,
it always is.
Look, I don't think either one of us have ever been in the situation where we made videos every single day. And though I'm not gonna say the news show is the most complicated thing to make and edit and everything else, but at the same time, it's definitely had its challenges, but I feel like next week's gonna be, you know, so much easier, and every week, you know, as we continue going, it's gonna be so much easier. But yeah, it was.
We're just trying to fine tune, you know, our entire process here, and maybe towards the end of this live broadcast, we'll give you a quick little glimpse of what the studio is looking like. But yeah, we're trying to refine the news show and then other content to make this a well-oiled machine to keep pumping out content. Because the reality is the news show is happening Monday through Friday. Ideally, I think we want to try to get, you know, more live coverage, especially for news. Maybe every Friday or something. Obviously, guys, let us know what you think in the comment section below.
Plus, I want to utilize live events for important things, too. Like, for example, I'll give a good example that we messed up on, but it's our first week into this.
Yeah.
But yesterday's Samsung event, which we're going to talk about for sure today.
Yep.
That would have been a good example of something we could have done yesterday live. Even if we could have covered the event while it's happening.
Yeah, it would have been great.
Would have been great. Now, we weren't really set up for that.
Not at all.
So that's why even yesterday, like the live event was happening while I was filming the news show. That's why I went over a couple highlights that was currently happening. I was like, no, we're going to address this tomorrow, you know. But down the road, you know, we're going to make sure we cover these things. The next big event will probably be an Apple event in all reality.
Yeah,
and we should be able to do something with that live.
Yeah, I mean, Apple's going to be coming out with some new iPhones, maybe iPads or whatever, I guess in September, October. So we're going to definitely try to do a live show for that event. But this is content that we've never really been able to produce, especially together.
No.
So this is really fantastic. I'm trying to remember, the last live show that you and I did we even do it in the same location?
No, we were on Skype.
We're on Skype.
But I had my green screen, so remember I made it all look kind of cool.
No, I don't remember. That's why.
It's on the channel. We can look it up.
But yeah, unfortunately, that's something we don't have the ability to do. Is have.
I know. I thought about that. We should have brought a laptop out here.
Yeah, if we had a laptop, easily send it to the Sling Studio. That would have been great. But guys, we're refining this process. It'll work out in the grand scheme of things. But anyway, let's get into the Samsung event.
Let's get into the news.
All All right, so Samsung came out with several products, and I will be straight up with you. You know, Trevor was the one that was pestering me to do this live show today. So I'm not as prepared as he is. But
I don't know about that.
So fill in whatever I'm missing at this point.
Okay, go ahead, do the recap.
But I wanted to do the quick little recap of, so yesterday, that was the 9th of August 2018.
Today's the 10th, so that makes sense.
Today's the 10th, so it was the 9th. Samsung came out with a new phone, their Note 9.
Don't get this confused, because I got in trouble for this. It is indeed the Note 9. The
Note
7 is the one that the battery blew up, not the Note 8.
Well, the Note 9 still has the potential of the battery blowing up.
It still could blow up. We don't know yet.
We do not know. As well as Samsung came out with a new smartwatch. And was there anything else?
Okay. Yeah.
Because they have like a Bluetooth speaker or something.
Nah, it's their smart speaker. It's their smart speaker with Bixby 2.0, which we talked about earlier this week on the new show.
Screw Bixby.
I hate. Okay, so I briefly mentioned it yesterday on the new show, but I hate Bixby. Literally, this is what would happen when I had my Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus.
Okay.
I would be sleeping or in bed. No TV on. It's not like the whole Alexa thing where someone says Alexa and it turns on. Not like that. I swear to God, it could be completely silent and Bixby would all of a sudden out loud on the phone be like, I see you searched for blah, 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 but I could not find that, but here's the YouTube article for this. And all of a sudden it would play a fucking YouTube video.
Not good.
It was
not good.
Crazy.
You sure you weren't trying to
look
up some
literally,
porn or something?
I swear it was not. But literally, I would just be like, there was a witness to this, but I was just sitting there, and all of a sudden I started playing a YouTube video. Bixby was weird, and she did a lot of things like that. I really dislike Bixby. And what I really hated is that button on the Samsung Galaxy. You couldn't reprogram it. It was just the Bixby button. So I can't tell you how many times I would try to turn the phone off and accidentally click the Bixby button.
Well, that's because, and this is, and we're getting a little bit off topic here, but you know, I haven't been always thrilled with Samsung, especially their phones. You know, they try to force you to utilize their products. And I'm not even talking about the physical products.
I will say, sorry to interrupt, I will say Apple does exactly the same thing.
Of course. Of course they do. But a Samsung phone is running Android. And Samsung has just overlaid, you know, their own features and whatnot to their products.
And it always slows it down. That's my experience with every Samsung Galaxy I've ever had.
Yeah.
I like it for the first month. It's super fast and great, but then it starts lagging down. It starts being slow. It's not real good anymore, and that's my experience every single time for the past 5 years with Samsung phones.
It's frustrating.
That's why at this point I won't go back. And I'm sorry to say it, and this is a Samsung coverage event. I know people are watching this who care about Samsung, but I'm sorry. I don't feel like I could go back at this point. You know?
Except maybe the Note 9 will make some people want to go back.
You know what? I will say one thing.
To be determined.
I've had two Notes. I've got the Note 2 and the Note 3.
So those are pretty old notes. Let's be honest.
It's an old note. It's like the type of note, like, you know, your grandfather gave to your grandma in high school to say I love you.
Very old.
Very old note. Those were actually decent. The Note 2 was actually been my favorite compared to the Note 3.
That's interesting.
Just because it was big. Like back then, you got to realize that was not. It was a huge phone. I don't know the exact year the Note 2 came out. I could look it up, but I think that was still like iPhone 4 or 4S days. So you got to consider you have this little screen and then this Note, which is like a tablet in comparison.
Enormous phone. I mean, I have a 8 Plus over here, and it's a decent sized phone, but phones are just getting bigger. And because we're talking about bigger phones, we should actually dive into specifically the Note 9 because it is a rather large phone for sure.
What was the actual screen size?
So diving right into the Samsung Note 9 that was just announced, it's a big phone.
6.4 inches.
6.4 inch screen. I mean, to just compare, first off, my iPhone 8 Plus, which is in no means a large phone in all reality today.
It's not nowadays.
It's what, a 5.5 inch screen, 5.8 inch screen.
What's the iPhone X then? Which is technically bigger.
So I want to say yours is, I think, 5.8 and mine is 5.5.
Could be right.
Give or take, I believe that's the case. Of course, I could be a little wrong about this. This is why you have edited videos to make sure you don't make these mistakes.
Well, that's why you just look things up on the live show.
Googling whatnot. But regardless, though, the fact of the Note 9 being even larger, you gotta have some big hands and big pockets.
Yeah, you were right. This is 5.8. Yours is 5.5.
It's 5.5, and my phone already feels pretty big.
And that Samsung really is a huge phone then.
Yeah. It's a huge phone.
6.4.
That's bigger than It's bigger than both our phones.
Yeah.
I'm going to say combined, but that's not the case.
Not
at all.
It's not an iPad.
No. Though our iPad is what's controlling this entire live show tonight.
That's true.
Which is pretty awesome technology.
iPad Pro.
That
you criticized me because I didn't get the bigger the screen size, but
I just got to say, the 12-inch iPad, that's where it's at. That's going to replace your computer one day. But you know what? That's for a different news show or whatever. Today we're here about Samsung, not about Apple.
But I will say, it kind of goes hand in hand because that's one of the features that Samsung even talked about was replacing your computer. But not with a tablet, with your phone.
That is very true. That's very true. Yes, we will. And let's try not to get sidetracked, and let's specifically talk about the Samsung Note 9. So, new Samsung phone, relatively similar design compared to former Note products. But the screen, as we already discussed, is enormous, 6.4 inches. I'm trying to remember what the last screen size was. It definitely was in the 6-inch world, but they definitely made it a little bit bigger, as well as they increased the battery capacity within the phone. They're advertising that the Note 9 is going to have all-day battery. So, with a better processor, which this has, the processor in it is, I don't know what specifically it is, but it's supposed to give you about 33% more power on the CPU side and about 23% on the GPU side. So bigger processor, or more powerful processor, more power it's going to suck up. So they did have to increase the battery capacity so that you can have a all-day battery life, which is what Samsung's claiming.
Now, I will say, to answer the question, the Galaxy Note 8 was 6.3 inches.
Okay, so it's not really that big of a difference, but what I'm seeing, though, is I think the bezels are a tad bit decreased on the Note 9.
I would agree with that. I believe that is true.
So
now,
they're just trying to
compensate.
compensate.
Design, from what I heard and what I've seen so far, the design difference isn't that big of a difference.
No, not at all.
But what does surprise me is the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus, which I owned, was 6.2, and I didn't realize that was as big of a screen that even is compared to.
Yeah, that's pretty.
I didn't realize that.
But what's interesting with phones these days is because they're decreasing the bezels, they can increase the size without making the phone feel bigger. Your iPhone X, I know this isn't an Apple or iPhone live broadcast, if you will, but your iPhone X has a bigger screen than my 8 Plus, but my 8 Plus feels enormous
It really
compared to your X. So it's really interesting to see how phones are evolving and whatnot.
Plus the aspect ratios of these phones are changing too. Because the Note 9 does have a 18:5 or 18, I don't even know how to correctly say this, 18:5:9 aspect ratio. Is that the way you even say that?
Honestly, I have no idea.
I've never seen an aspect ratio like that before, but it's a weird aspect ratio.
It's interesting nonetheless.
Yeah.
So continuing with the Note 9, let's dive into some of the specifics, because obviously every phone, they do something with the screen, whether it's make it bigger, a better resolution, whatever. They always make it faster. And do a ton of minor things. They also, I think, moved the fingerprint sensor to the middle of the phone, right underneath the cameras.
Yeah.
So now it should be easily accessible, whatever. But I want to talk about pricing and compatibility for this phone. So you're gonna the base phone, which is gonna cost you $1,000, $999, has a capacity of 128 gigabytes.
It's pretty good.
That is a lot of storage.
It's an expensive phone too, but that's a
$1,000
phone.
But, so what's your phone actually? Do you know what's the capacity of your phone, your iPhone X?
I think 64 gigabytes.
64 gigabytes, and you bought that phone for what? Approximately $1,000.
$1,000. It was the baseline model, so $999.
Yeah. So Samsung's increasing that. You get 6 gigabytes of RAM, which, whatever. Yeah. But you can upgrade the phone. You get their higher end version, which is a whopping 512 gigabytes of capacity, and that's pretty insane.
That is really insane. Plus, you still have an SD card slot.
I was about to mention, so you get 8 gigabytes of RAM with that, and as soon as, I don't know if it's out yet, but Samsung has a 512 gigabyte micro SD card that's coming out, and you can put that in your phone and get a terabyte phone. A phone with
what that's good for?
Capacity.
That's good for those music lovers out there. Love downloading their music, have tons of video.
Screw Spotify, screw Apple Music, downloading your music.
There's some direct
website that everyone used to use.
The Pirate Bay?
No. What was for music? That's not down any. It's not existing.
LimeWire. Napster.
LimeWire. We don't condone pirating anything.
You can't use any of those services anymore anyway.
No. But still though, especially for movies, if you're going on a plane, I mean, honestly, if I was going on a plane right now and wanted to download stuff on my phone, it would not be that easy.
Well, what's your storage?
So I have 64 gigabytes.
Okay.
Which is not that much.
I feel like that's enough if you're just doing photos and apps and everything else. But if you're audio and video is where it's really going to start, having issues.
Totally.
Because I got the wrong iPad. I will be honest, and I did.
Thank you.
But it's not screen size. It's not the screen size. It's the storage. I didn't get enough because I think this is 64 gigs, and it's just not. It's not enough. But what I will say though is there's a couple of movie directors out there. Or filmmakers, I really should say the future is phones. They're going to make movies on phones. If you have a Samsung Galaxy Note 9, not only are you going to have an amazing camera because that's what we expect nowadays on a $1,000 flagship phone, but all of a sudden you have a terabyte of potential storage to store those that video on. That's a lot of storage.
And one thing with the whole storage aspect, and this is kind of dissing Apple, the fact that these Samsung products have micro SD cards. If I have a computer that I have all my, let's say, movies on, I can easily just drag and drop them over, plug them in my phone.
Apple doesn't know the concept of drag and drop, even though they invented literally push, drag and drop, pretty much. They did. They invented the mouse, so drag and drop, the whole little touch the screen. No,
I got you.
But I should say, hold on, you mentioned something very important there. Apple missing out on the SD card and the whole drag and drop. I agree. I love that feature. Yeah. Even just your music, take your music files, whatever. But not only does it have that, but let's just talk about the things that it has that the iPhone doesn't have. And this is going to really make the iPhone people not happy now. USB-C, which is great. Which the iPhone probably will get that in all reality.
I do think it's going to get it. At the same time, USB-C is still a little bit of a hit or miss concept.
I like USB-C a lot.
No, I like USB-C a lot, and it's really hitting the market. It's on all major laptops, and really now all phones.
Yeah, even like baseline phones. I bought a baseline Motorola phone like a year ago and it had USB-C. It was like a $400 phone.
No, you're entirely right. At the same time, though, you do have to keep in mind that although USB-C is fantastic, and I do agree with you, I think it'll be in the future for even iPhone device or Apple products, if you will. At the same time, though, there is a very large infrastructure already to accessories for iPhones.
I love the conversation we're about to get into, because people said this exact thing when they went from the Lightning connector to the 30-pin connector to the Lightning connector. They said the same thing. But I don't know if you saw this in the news. This is one topic I did want to cover today that was outside of the Samsung realm. Okay. So I'll briefly say, because it goes right into what we're saying. The EU. They have a council. They're the ones, and I don't know the exact details of this, but they're one of the ones that have been talking about Facebook and their privacy issues and making laws. They just find Facebook a huge amount of money. Same with Google, a huge amount of money. Well, they are actually very upset about compatibility of iPhones with other devices because it is a proprietary connector. So they're saying that it violates some of their policies. So they may be finding Apple a significant amount of money because of that, because they're saying it should be USB-C. So it might push Apple, because they might be, considering all the millions of iPhones out there, if they were to get fined, let's say even 50 cents an iPhone, that's a lot, billions of dollars. So yeah, exactly. So that actually may be a really real thing. We'll talk more about that on Monday's news show for sure. Yeah, no problem. I just wanted to bring that out there. That actually might be a real thing. But if you get the Note 9, you don't even have that problem. And guess what else you have?
What's that?
A headphone jack. Drop the mic.
I mean, okay, in 2018, yes, a ton of people have been upset and still are upset about the whole no headphone jack thing. I will say, don't get me wrong, having a headphone jack is, convenient. It is nice, it's simple, whatever. At the same time, though, ever since I got my 8 Plus, honestly, it doesn't faze me.
Yeah, I'll say this. It doesn't really faze me much either, except for when I do need it. Because there are times I legitimately forget, and I have an auxiliary drawer, and I'm like, oh, I'll plug it. Oh. Yeah. Do I have an adapter? No. It's like...
I mean, I will say, I am a huge lover of Apple's AirPods and other Bluetooth headphones.
I have the Beats X. I like those. Which are pretty equivalent to the AirPods.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of Bluetooth headphones these days are fantastic. Yeah. They are really very reliable, sound pretty decent, have, depending on the product, decent battery life for sure. But, even with that said, though, I'm using my AirPods usually 24/7, so I don't always think about having the little dongle. So it usually comes down to, when I get in my car, sometimes I'm like, oh crap, I forgot my dongle. So can't listen to music in the car.
I should say we had a comment from the Techie 2. Yo, Trippy Trev.
Oh, the Techie 2. That's funny. Yeah. But with that said, though, I mean, it hasn't been a big deal with the whole headphone jack thing, but some people are still upset with it, but it is what it is. You know, wireless audio is becoming the future, so, you know, it's nice to have it, but it's really whatever.
I mean, look, I think people that would get a phone, like, I don't want to say get a phone like this, because it's not, I mean, look, this is not a phone everyone's going to get. Let's just be honest. Because
it's a big phone.
It's a big phone. You're going to get it for certain reasons.
And it's pricey.
It is pricey, but for a user that's going to need this, because we haven't even talked about the stylus yet, but obviously that's a huge reason why someone buys this phone.
I was going to say,
you're talking about the huge amount of storage, the stylus, the big screen. If you've got that big of a device, you're getting this device because you really want something that's a hybrid between a phone and a tablet.
No,
so at that point, keep the darn headphone jack. And I bet you at some point Samsung will remove the headphone jack, but I bet you the Note series keeps it for a lot longer a period of time than any other series.
Yeah, no, I feel like you're right. I mean, Apple got rid of it for a few reasons, as they claim. I mean, they claim that they only have so much room in this phone, and I'm sure to a degree they're correct, but that doesn't mean that their engineers couldn't fit something in.
Look,
But the Note is going to be a bigger phone.
The iPhone 6 and the iPhone 7 were almost identical to design, except one of them had the headphone jack and one of them did not. So in all reality, that's not a good excuse. And you know what Apple tried to do and they did not succeed at? One thing they did not do. So Samsung wins again. They tried to make Lightning headphones be a thing, but they never really caught on. A couple companies made like a Lightning headphone, but nothing caught it. It was not a standard.
No, you're right.
So that never caught on.
And this is also why if USB-C becomes a standard on all phones, and it really is for like Android phones at this point, just not iPhone, of course, we could be seeing a lot more USB-C headphones potentially.
It could be. I think Bluetooth's still gonna like just make that industry not really
once they get the battery life and reliability 100%, because here's the thing, Bluetooth technology and wireless headphones, they're really good these days compared to what we've had, but they're still always not perfect. Even my AirPods, and obviously Apple products specifically, but even my AirPods, the battery life isn't always what I would like them to be. They do what I need them to do, but there's still some times where I have to...
It still sucks when they don't work.
Exactly.
Like when the battery, it's like, oh, you go to use them, oh, it's like, oh, the battery's dead. That is when I would like plug in some headphones and you know what, I do have a pair of the stupid like Apple headphones with the Lightning connector, but those things don't last either. Like again, I think Samsung's doing something right here, and this goes kind of right along with some of their, I would say, acoustics anyway. Samsung seems to care about audio. And whether you're talking about the headphone jack or the amount of storage on the device where you can put all your music and everything there, but they also have a Dolby Atmos 3D simulation sound technology.
He didn't read that off his phone by any means.
I had to, come on. It's literally, it's tuned by AKG Acoustics and supports Dolby Atmos 3D simulated surround sound technology. That's a mouthful.
Yeah, 100%.
But we use AKG microphones. It's a good company. It's a very well-known and respected audio company. And Dolby Atmos, though no one asked me all the technicalities and stuff about Dolby Atmos, but that's a huge thing. And apparently it supports apps like Netflix, so whether you're a music lover or a video lover, and this is probably a great phone to watch a movie on, on Netflix. Again, you can utilize like the Netflix download feature, where you can you aware of that feature? We can actually download a movie on the Netflix app and keep it locally. So if you're going on a flight, download 25 movies on that thing. You have more than enough storage, in 4K probably. Watch this thing, and you should be able to be fine with that.
Yeah,
and get great audio quality.
Yeah. So moving away from audio quality, I
know people out there respected that. Someone did.
Someone did. Oh, maybe one person. But maybe you that person.
It's me when I watch it later.
Yeah, of course, of course. So one other feature again with the whole Note series overall is Samsung's S Pen. This is a stylus for your phone that is going to give your phone some more functionality. It's going to allow you to do more precise movements, drawing, whatever.
Take notes. I think it's the best feature for this.
Taking notes.
You know what this is? This is a modern day Palm Pilot. Do you remember the Palm Pilots? Take your little stylus out.
No.
What did you do with the Palm Pilot? You made little notes with it. I had little notes.
Yeah, I mean
Why is it called the Samsung Galaxy Note?
No, you're right. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be a slightly hit or miss if you're a student, because a lot of professors, teachers, whatever, don't appreciate
is that still a thing nowadays?
You having your phone in class. Yeah, they don't like your phones in
But
class.
you could have an iPad taking notes.
You can get away with an iPad and a laptop.
But I can
a lot more than a phone.
Do teachers not know that I have iMessage on a MacBook or like can still access the internet?
This is why I don't understand
I don't get
teachers.
Because really, there's nothing. I mean, this is 100% true. There is nothing I can't do on my iPad, including call people, text people, and everything else that I cannot do on my phone.
No, you're entirely right, but it's just how the world still perceives phones, tablets, whatever. They see a tablet and they don't immediately think about you texting, FaceTime calls, whatever. They think you're doing something a little bit more productive. Same thing, especially with a laptop.
Now, does the Samsung Galaxy Note phones have the same, like, I want to say, I don't know the right word, it's going to kill me, but Prosana, that's the right word.
Okay.
Prosana is like a BlackBerry. It's a business phone.
I mean,
obviously, if the same Prosana was a BlackBerry, you're going out of business, so that's not the greatest example, but you get my point. When you see a BlackBerry user, when I had a BlackBerry for a week a few months ago, had the BlackBerry Keyone for a week, I felt like I was a man in charge. I owned $1 billion business, and I was getting stuff done. Now, I guess if you own a Note, you're kind of in the same mentality. Like, I got my stylus, I can draw, I can do notes, you're getting stuff done.
Well, I think in the terms of business, this device is very applicable. But I don't think it's going to really work with some students. Of course, you're always at, whatever the professor says. Some of the professors might be all right with it, some, not so much. It just is what it is. So I don't know how well this product is going to go for a lot of students because the Note is kind of supposed to be, I think as you already stated at some point, it's supposed to be your phone and maybe, somewhat of a tablet.
Well, and somewhat of a computer maybe.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. But
I will say one thing too, and no one pays retail prices for their phone, so there's not many people out there going to drop $1,000 on this phone.
It's true.
But in all reality, if you're dropping $1,000 on this phone, that's also the price of your college laptop you're going to buy as well. So if you're a student, this probably is not the phone you're going to get. In all reality, it just wouldn't make sense.
I don't know if I fully agree with that though, because you have to realize.
No, you just said students wouldn't get it.
Oh no, yeah, I mean, I somewhat agree with that, but the whole pricing thing of the phone, this phone is going to cost $1,000, the base phone, and I don't think I mentioned, if you want the higher capacity one, the 512 gigabytes with 8 gigabytes of RAM.
I don't want to hear how much.
It's approximately, I think, $1,250.
That's a lot of money.
So basically for an extra, I can't do math right now, but approximately 400, 300 something gigabytes of storage additional.
Let's just talk about this for a second too.
$250.
So every carrier works like this now. They'll take the payment of the phone, they'll take the price of the phone and break it over 24 months.
Yeah.
That's how every carrier does it. So you're talking about, you say $1,300 phone?
Approximately, yeah.
So $1,300 plus tax. So
and that might have added a little bit of tax to it because
let's just for all intents and purposes, you just take this number and probably add a couple $100s to it for tax.
Maybe.
Divided by
potentially an extra warranty or something.
Well, yeah, things like that. No one just buys the phone. People get their accessories and cases and all that other stuff too. So, but divide that by 24 months. That's $54 a month. So that isn't for just the phone. You may say, "No, I only pay $60 a month for my phone right now." No, that's just the phone. What do you pay for your monthly Verizon bill?
On Verizon right now, I have a whopping, and I know you roasted me in one of my former news shows. I'm on Verizon. I pay about $65 a month.
So
which isn't even that much.
That's just for the service.
But no. $65 for the entire service. That gives me 5 gigabytes of data.
I don't know what the average cell phone bill is, but let's just say $65. That's $119
for one phone.
For one phone.
For one phone.
Which is in 2018 very expensive.
Which if you get on Verizon, I think if it's about $95 a month if you have their base unlimited.
Which you may not even be able to get your plan anymore. I think you're in a legacy plan.
No, I'm actually not. I figured that out because I recently just upgraded. Okay. But regardless,
are you eligible for the Apple Music for 6 months?
I don't know. I saw your new show, and I'm gonna have to check it out. Yeah. But at the end of the day, though, if you get a unlimited plan, which a lot of people are getting these days, with buying this phone up, you're spending $140 a month. A decent amount of money. At the same time, though, I mean, you have to keep in mind. So my phone, I'm spending, I think, $39 a month. This is the 64 gigabyte model. I got it through Apple. So, if you want this new phone, the highest end model, you're only talking $14 more. Is $14 more really that big of a deal? maybe month to month, no. But at the end of the day, it does add up to a decent chunk of change. What's 14 times?
I was going to say, in a year's time, that's $168.
So then if you have the phone for the whole 2 years, what would it be?
Oh, for the full 2 years? So that's $336. That's a coffee every single day, just about.
It is. So, are you going to get a coffee?
Really, I don't know where you're getting that coffee for that price, but still.
Yeah.
It's a coffee every other day for the entire year.
Yeah. Are you getting a cup of coffee every day, or are you getting a phone every?
Granted, I will say my iPhone X is the most expensive phone I ever bought by far, and I do spend more money on it monthly than any other phone.
And the next phone you get will probably be more expensive. Let's just say.
Don't say those things.
Regardless, we're a little bit off topic here.
This is great for a lot. You know what? Look, relax. Just let it happen. Close your eyes.
I'd rather you not touch me, but
he just doesn't want a video. As soon as the camera goes off, he's gonna be like, "Touch me."
I beg to differ. I have a lot of editing and stuff to do. Regardless, was there anything else you want to talk about in regards to the S Pen?
It supports Bluetooth now.
So, what does that do for me? In all reality,
it essentially more compatibility, more enhanced features within apps. Out of the box,
a bit more accurate. Maybe.
I don't know if tracking's accurate, but this pen does improve the tracking points of the.
Okay.
So I saw there was 4,096 pressure levels for this pen, which is insane. It really is insane. But it essentially the Bluetooth's going to allow for unlocking the phone, manipulating slideshows by and be as a camera shutter too. So you could theoretically, that's a cool thing. Put your phone over there, take the little pen over cheese, and click the little S Pen.
That's nice.
Controlling music playback, and
basic things.
Now, I think this is cool. So I don't know if I know you read. I don't write. I don't talk either. But I know you heard my show yesterday where I was talking about Fortnite is only for the Samsung.
Yeah, that was something that was talked about on the Samsung event.
Well, you can use the pen as a makeshift Fortnite controller.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And to be honest, I do kind of want to get my hands on a Note now, just because of that.
You've never played Fortnite.
I still have not played Fortnite. We should do that live at some point, but never played Fortnite. We're
gonna do that after this show, but
okay. But I think that is a cool feature, and I don't know. Again, there's a software developer kit that will allow third-party developers to make applications for the S Pen. So I feel like Samsung didn't go overboard with saying this is all it can do. They didn't really say this is all it can do. They're we're giving you the developers the platform to make whatever you can make this thing do.
Is this the first year they've actually done that? Has the S Pen solely been limited to whatever Samsung wants it to do?
Well, in all reality, in the past, not exactly, but there was limitations of the pen. And granted, I don't know if people were asking for this functionality in all reality, because really, the pen in the past was just a pen. That's what it did. It's not like you could use third-party apps and do whatever you wanted, but it was just a stylus. It didn't work unless it was just a couple centimeters away from the screen, because it uses that local field thingamajig where it powers it.
Okay.
Now, I will say, and what people will complain about, is because it does have Bluetooth, you do have to charge it. From my understanding, and I could be completely wrong, is I could have sworn it charges while it's plugged into the phone.
Honestly, that would make sense, and if it didn't, I'd be kind of mad about that.
And because I'm pretty sure, and according to this, it also will last 30 minutes for only 40 seconds of charging. So that's pretty darn
Yeah, I
good.
mean, that's what Apple kind of states. I mean, I don't know if those numbers are specifically what Apple states, but with their Apple Pencil, you plug it in for 30 seconds and you get 30 minutes or whatever of usage. It does,
just reading this, just to double check, it does indeed charge when it's in the phone, so you really won't have any issues with that. What I will say as well, though, is they did say if the battery does die for whatever reason, it doesn't affect the regular S Pen functionality. So you can still use it to write and stuff with.
Okay.
It's just gonna disable essentially the Bluetooth functionality of the device.
That makes sense.
So it's still not a big deal, but I can't imagine you be using this pen and it's out long enough where you're gonna even go through the battery. Yes, it's a really small battery. I bet it doesn't last that long. It probably does. It probably honestly is that 30-minute probably mark. But how long are you gonna be without putting it back in there? And again, 40 seconds of the charging is not 30 minutes.
I'm curious to know what the length of the battery is. Let's say you had it plugged in overnight or whatever. It's full charge. I wonder how long it's actually gonna last.
Yeah, I don't think they released that information.
Yeah, I didn't see that information either. I mean, the reality is, let's say you are in, if you're a business person or whatever, and even if you are a student that's taking, notes, you got your teacher, professor, whoever to allow you to use your Note 9. I wonder how long it will last. But at the same time, that actually really doesn't matter.
Yeah, I just read here it doesn't really work like that. So for taking notes, it's not going to affect the battery at all.
It doesn't actually matter.
Samsung said it will last around 200 clicks of the button on a single charge.
Okay.
So if you're clicking the button, if you just
which in all reality you really wouldn't be doing. So the battery life, you should really never have a problem with it. That's good.
The best thing they did was make it charge while it's in the phone. If they did something weird, awkward situation, that would be a little weird. Like, you know how, like, honestly, the one when I had my Apple Watch, the thing I forgot to do all the time was charge the Apple Watch.
I do that all the time.
I think you even do that probably through. The Apple did go with the earbuds because you have the charging case. But how many times do you forget to charge the charging case? You know, it's like one of those awkward extra steps you got to go through. Like I just want to take my watch off, throw it somewhere, and it's charging.
You're right. I got you.
You know,
I mean, I will say with the AirPods, it helps. I have a little dock in my desk, so
you do have the dock
I easily plug it in, but I still forget here and there. So this is pretty awesome.
This is good. Realistically, that will never be an issue. I feel like they only brought the battery thing even up because people were obviously going to ask, the battery's going to, and it's Bluetooth. Bluetooth devices don't last long, but this seems to be perfectly acceptable. And I am very interested in the stylus. I will say I did enjoy having styluses with my old notes. It was nice. Now, say what you want about stylus. Some people would say they don't want it. Other people say they will. Now, the only thing I will say is practicality. I never had a great use for either one of my styluses. Now, maybe with the enhanced Bluetooth features, with gaming, I could see being kind of cool.
I want to see gaming at all with a stylus, but okay.
Well, a makeshift Fortnite controller, because I don't know the full functionality this thing has, but maybe even like nose rotation. Maybe it's like a Wii controller for all we know, and you can do cool.
Controller.
Yeah, someone hacked it to play Wii Sports on the Note 9. That's what I want to say. But theoretically, with this Bluetooth stylus, it could be possible if it has it could have a gyroscope in it or something. I don't know.
It could. It'll be really interesting.
I don't see that here in the notes. But
yeah. Now one thing I'm curious on, and I'm kind of asking you this, Trevor.
Yeah.
You know, I will say the Apple Pencil. You know, say what you will about it, but generally speaking, it's a pretty accurate. It has some accurate, touch points when you're using an iPad or whatever.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have been able to utilize it for doing digital design, drawing and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm curious if the S Pen is going to help or going to be capable to do any sort of real drawing.
I think it will be, but I'll tell you the problem, and I think they're doing, I don't want to say this exactly the way it's going to come out, but I think they're doing this on the wrong product. I think that anyone that's serious about drawing, digital drawing, I should say, would get a tablet still. And I feel like the phone is just a little too small, so I think the market they really go after and the market that buys these phones at the end of the day is really, again, for notes. I don't feel like any serious drawer is going to want to use it. But what I would love to see, and Samsung still has the opportunity to do this, in their tablet line, is put a pen in their tablet line, a little bit bigger of a pen, something a drawer would actually use. Because this tablet stylus, I really should call it, it's not a pen. Like Apple calls their stylus a pencil for their tablets, but it feels like a pencil or a pen. It's big, it's not. I don't want to say it's bulky, but it feels substantial when you're touching it. In my experience in the past with the Samsung S Pens, is that they're not. They're flimsy. They feel. What they feel like? A Nintendo DS. Kind of, and maybe
not that bad, but
I mean that's what it was in the Note 2 and 3 days. I have not touched a pen since then, so I will say there's opportunity for them to have improved.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's been my experience with it. When I feel like a real drawer will like a little more substantial of a screen size. I mean, I don't want to say a better screen. I'm sure the Note has a beautiful screen.
Yeah, I don't know. So I guess you made a valid point here. I guess anyone that does drawing and all that, you're not gonna be using this kind of product.
No.
But what also I'm curious on, and I don't even know what's available on the Android platform because I got an iPhone here. My next device.
I'm supposed to be the unbiased person. Meanwhile, I pretty much have an iPhone and stuff too. Because you've always been an Apple fanboy.
I've always had Apple products. The only ever Android phone I had was some stupid flip phone. Or
I mean, I've gone back and forth for years. Right now in what month is it? August. August of 2018.
August 10th, 2018.
I am more on Apple's side, but just wait until another couple months when I.
Of course. But my points we made is one thing I'm looking forward to in the future is I'm really looking at tablets and maybe even phones now potentially for making a portable workflow for photo and video editing.
Yeah.
And this stylus, if there's any decent, photo editing or video editing platforms on Android, which I'm sure there's something in
There
regards to it. A stylus could be really beneficial for that, especially if you're trying to edit on a phone, and because you have a micro SD card slot on the Note 9,
you know what?
Could be possible.
You bring up a really good point, because we personally, obviously we do video here. That's what we do.
Yeah.
So we've been actually talking about this recently, because I was just talking the other day about editing on the iPad.
Yeah.
And I was saying I found great editing software. It's like $20. It may even be on Android as well. I forget the name of it at the moment, but I was saying I don't feel like I could do it unless I get the Apple Pencil. Because it's just you don't have that fine control.
And that is
in
even on a bigger tablet.
Yeah, you're talking about a phone. That could be hugely beneficial. One thing I keep playing around with the idea of is at some point I want to do daily vlogging. If you're doing daily vlogging, if you could travel and you're doing daily vlogging, and all you could potentially bring is your Samsung Galaxy Note, which has the stylus and everything built in, and you can literally, and you can do this, it's got USB-C, plug your camera right into USB-C, transfer all the files over. You got up to a terabyte of storage. You got more than enough, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's insane.
It's more. Look. The baseline MacBook Pro has 128 gigabytes of storage. Just think about that.
What are you doing?
I mean, granted, I will say, like, you look at the Windows equivalents; they're pretty much the same place. Dell Inspiron 13, or Dell XPS 13, same pretty much.
You're
range,
right. You're right. But still, though, it begs the point of there is potentially a lot of potential.
There is. And while we're talking about that, we're talking about great... do you know how many freaking cores this thing has?
No, I don't.
It's an 8-core CPU.
And actually, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if you read this. I thought I saw somewhere out there it being water-cooled.
Oh, God. I'm pretty sure that's not true, but
all right.
Let me find that out before I say that. I did see something about processors here.
You know what? I'm just going to go open up my laptop over there. And,
oh, that's true. You had other stuff to do anyway. Okay. So Eric is going to the back here, which means that I got to click a button. Let's see if this works. I'm going to put my headphones on to make sure this isn't going to be an issue. I forgot how to do this. There we go. Oh, wait, that didn't work. Crap. What did you do, Eric? It's not recording. Wait, it keeps saying video not available. Oh. There we go. Okay, I don't have your audio though. Hold on. Okay, try now. Wait, it says video. Wait.
Nicely set up. I don't really know what to do with the wireless unit here. Anyway, we're just gonna...
It says video not available! I got you on that camera though. Wow.
Alright. So I have no idea if Trevor can...
Oh, there we go.
...or is talking or whatever. But I'm at my desk right now. Alright, we are pulling up some information here.
So, if you don't know, Eric is pulling up the information over here. Live streaming.
I don't know. I don't know, Trevor. If you are looking at this right now. Is he looking at this? I don't know. Are you? All right. He is looking at this. All right. We're working on this whole, live streaming thing. Sorry about this. Anyway, flipping the camera right around. I'm on The Verge's website right now, and I don't know if you can see this, but it says that there's a water cooling system inside the phone. That is pretty awesome if you ask me. Anyway.
I mean, that is pretty awesome. I will say that much. No, it's like all laggy. I don't know. It kept saying video not available.
Oh, now it just said it again.
Yeah, see?
I don't know. This is when...
It was work. You know what? This is one of those things that work when we're testing, because we never had any issues with these things beforehand.
Well, at the same time, we're moving around.
It's probably the connector. Did we have another HDMI cable go?
I don't know.
It was working when you were in there, though, for the most part. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Interesting. Oh, now it stopped again.
Yeah, no.
I don't know. I think you should have left it on the other camera without the fancy microphone. But regardless, there is a water cooling system within this phone.
I still don't believe that, though.
Which is interesting.
I didn't read that, though. It
was on The Verge's website. But you know, what are you gonna do with all this insane amount of power? Well, do you want to use your phone as a desktop?
I've always wanted that.
Okay, I'm waiting still, and I know they're not gonna do it, at least right now. But you know, being an Apple fanboy, if you will, I've always wanted their tablets, at the very least, to basically be a replacement for my laptop.
Yeah.
But Apple stated that they're not doing that. At the same time, I would like my phones to do that. And I know Windows Phone worked on that.
That was a fail. You know who tried to work on this but gave up was Ubuntu Phone. Do you remember?
Ubuntu, yes. I wish that
I was very interested in that, but that never really came to
No. So I know. So I'm trying to get this other live feed working. It's not being cooperative right now. But yeah, so Windows Phone, you know, they tried to do that. Ubuntu, Linux, they tried to do that, but their entire phone idea burnt to the ground. But I still wish that was the case.
So I'm sorry, I just have to say this again. But it's a Samsung Agnos 9810 processor or a Qualcomm Snapdragon 845, depending on your region. I don't know if the US is getting.
Interesting.
But both are which are cooled by a custom-designed water cooling system. How does that work?
Water cooling in phone.
How does that work?
As long
Wait,
as
you're telling me there's water in the phone?
So, what happens if you get water damage?
You know why they did this? They did it just in case it does blow up. It puts itself out.
I mean, okay.
Catches on fire.
Okay, that's potentially
it's
valid.
It's a sprinkler system for the phone.
That's potentially valid. But at the same time, what if your phone dies of water damage and they're like, oh no, it's not covered, but it was actually their own internal water cooling loop.
Dun dun dun! Conspiracy theory.
Oh no,
It's the frog people.
They're
making the frogs gay.
Guys, don't buy a Samsung Galaxy Note 9. It might have water cooling leak, or the water cooling system might leak.
That's incredible. How did that not make bigger headlines? Like, I had to scroll down quite a bit in my article to even find that, but that's a first. And not to mention, it doesn't get any maintenance, I suppose.
No, just like those water cooling loops in a PC. You can get custom loops that.
But it has to have a little pump in there somehow, and a little like reservoir, I would imagine somehow.
No, I agree with that.
Like all built in. I'll tell you one thing. You know what that really means? This means that this phone must run extremely hot, and they couldn't cool it without some type of more active cooling, because passive cooling wasn't working, and they're not going to put a fan in the phone. No, does that make the phone silent? Perfectly silent? Probably not.
I mean, I don't know if there's any fans in the phone.
Probably but there's things physically moving. There's water. There's some sort of.
It doesn't mean there's a pump in it though. That's the thing.
Well, I guess it doesn't, but it's.
It's interesting nonetheless.
You know what? iFixit. We need an iFixit teardown of this phone immediately.
It'll be soon.
Yeah, like a week or something. But that will be interesting. We'll talk about that on the news show because that is very interesting. By the way, going back to what you're saying though, if this could be a computer, let's just theoretically say.
Okay.
So you hook it up to your monitor, which you can do. It's a feature.
Yeah, you can without any fancy docks or whatever. You just need a simple USB-C to HDMI.
In the past, with the last Samsung devices, there was a dock. You docked everything. Now, granted, I guess you have to use Bluetooth, like mouse and keyboard, because it doesn't.
Okay, well, potentially. So here's the thing.
Okay, let's do it.
Your Note 9, as we already stated, you can get a USB-C to HDMI dongle life.
Dongle life. Hashtag dongle life.
And plug it into a monitor and becomes basically a desktop. You get a desktop style interface all running off of your phone. Pretty awesome. Now, you could do, I guess, yes, you could get a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse because you do have the ability to connect the keyboard and mouse to your device.
And on Android, you do have full mouse capabilities and everything.
Exactly. You have full mouse, so that's awesome. Now, you could do that through Bluetooth, of course, but you could also get a USB-C hub probably,
True.
and have a wired USB-C. Of course, that's why an actual dock is adequate. But if you are on the go, you don't need a full dock. You can just get a nice dongle setup. And you'll be set.
I forgot about that, and this is not even necessarily a Samsung specific thing per se, because Android supports this in general. Because my BlackBerry had USB-C, and I had a USB-C dock which supports display outs and USB and 3.0 and Ethernet and everything. And I plugged it in just to try it. I just want to see what happened. It powered both my monitors that were hooked up to the dock. All USB worked. My mouse and keyboard worked, and it was ready to go.
Yeah.
Even heavy Ethernet. Even Ethernet works.
Awesome.
That's a really cool concept. Granted, it wasn't so optimized for that. I know Samsung, they have now essentially, I would call like their skin, if you will. That's like a PC. So you plug it in.
Yeah, I mean, on the pictures and whatnot I've saw, it looks good. Now, there's one other option, though, for mouse and keyboards.
What's that?
Your phone's so big, why not just use it as mouse and keyboard? If you're really in a pinch, you'll be able to use it as a trackpad. You can use it as a keyboard. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But in all reality, it would be very suitable to bring a portable Bluetooth keyboard, which will work on your phone no matter what through Bluetooth, and then just have your phone on the side and use it as a trackpad. Of course, not ideal for a power user, if you will, but on the go kind of setup, very possible and should work out not too bad at all.
It's very interesting. And look, this is a little bit off topic, but this is my idea of the world in the future. Is one of two things. Either we'll have a device like a phone that we can just plug into terminals, essentially. So I go to a public library, I can go to a hotel, I can go to my friend's house, do whatever. And it's like we don't have physical computers. Go to your house. We don't physically have a computer anymore. We literally just dock our phone or connect our phone up to one cable, and all of our stuff's there. It's either that is how the future is going to work, or it's all going to be cloud-based, where it's not like you have to physically even dock anything. It's just you're logging in. You put your thumbprint down, all of a sudden you're logging to your cloud computer, and it's just these terminals. That's all a monitor is going to be in the future, is like a terminal. We don't physically need to have these computers anymore. And I think we're going to continue seeing more and more of that over the next couple of years. I mean, we've seen it with some tablet kind of devices. I know there was some laptop folding mechanism thing that you actually docked your phone into.
Yeah.
I don't remember what that was exactly. I don't think it was real good, but I bet you that will happen in the future more. I mean, look how popular Chromebooks are, and they don't really do much. That could totally be a phone, where you're just essentially docking your phone into a laptop-type form factor, and there you go. That's where you do everything. And now phones are becoming more and more powerful. There's phones, I forget what phone it was. There's a phone with a 64-bit regular, like, Intel-based chip.
Yeah.
Low powered still, but they exist. Give it a couple more years. Now, freaking water cooling loops in a freaking phone. I was not expecting that ever.
I will say, this phone and other devices that other companies and whatnot are in the works of, it's becoming interesting. The whole, docking to your monitor is a great concept, but what also begs the question is how practical it is. And of course, it all depends on the end user. For someone in a business environment, this device could be very suitable. Let's just hypothetically speak here. Let's say you have all your documents and whatnot on maybe like Google Drive, and you want access to them and all that, and you're at your desk. You can potentially dock your phone into a monitor or two, get to view these documents in full on a desktop. Your viewing experience should be awesome for that.
Well, let's just say this too. We were talking about cost earlier. As a business, again, this is a phone that is meant for productivity for all intents and purposes. You got the stylus, you can take notes. All of a sudden, you get hired with a company that you're required to do things like that. And let's say you travel, so they give you a business phone, they give you a laptop, they may give you a desktop for at the office, they may do all that stuff. Theoretically, let's just theoretically say, we're not quite there yet, but they could essentially give you this Samsung Galaxy Note, phones. Like, this is your device. You do everything on this. You plug it into you plug into this monitor. You can do that anywhere. I wish there was a laptop form factor kind of still for these phones, and maybe that's down the road. But I feel like it's hard to still get a lot of work done. But let's say half your work's in Excel or something like that. Guess what? You can download the app. And it works perfectly on Android.
I will say that a lot of companies have worked on devices like this, docking a phone into a laptop shell, if you will. And the reality is, it hasn't really worked out. The end user hasn't been overly thrilled with it.
You know what? I don't know.
Maybe this will change it.
I don't know if that's because the products suck, which they kind of do this far.
Some of them not great.
Or it's because the experience that Android has been given on these devices sucks.
Well, what also begs
the question. Of both.
Yeah, I mean, what begs the question also is how good some of these apps are going to look in a desktop form factor.
Yeah, a lot of them are optimized great. Now, granted, that part is getting better, and companies like Samsung with these new, I don't want to say ambitions, but they've always had this ambition to trying to move everything more
right.
to a desktop. Those companies are going to help move that process forward, make app developers, more compatible with this. A good example, I'm sorry to bring it back up, is Fortnite. Guess what? They made sure of it when they partnered up together to make an exclusive Samsung Fortnite app. But you can plug your Samsung Galaxy into your monitor and play Fortnite with a controller. And have
in all honesty, there's two games I feel that are really breaking barriers, if you will. One's be funnier than the others. Obviously, Fortnite is one of them.
Well, now I'm curious about the other one. I think I know what he's gonna say.
Minecraft.
God damn it! I knew you were gonna say that.
Is
it really breaking barriers now?
Oh god.
Wow. Mom's calling. Hi, Mom.
Sorry. But in all honesty, both of those are rather interesting games. You have Fortnite that works on mobile phones, consoles, PCs, and same thing with Minecraft.
Okay, so one thing I did not know this till recently. Minecraft is cross-compatible, except for, I think we said, what was it, Xbox version or
Minecraft. Fortnite is compatible across the board, except with, I think it was the PlayStation. PlayStation refuses to allow their players to play with Xboxes. So you have some cross-compatibility issues there. But if you have an Xbox, you can play with people with Fortnite on your Nintendo Switch, on your phone, iPhone, or now the Samsung phone,
pretty darn
or
good.
Your computer.
And think about this. What's really cool about this, theoretically, is that with the fact you can dock your phone up to your TV or just really anything that has HDMI cable. So you can bring in your 60-inch, nice flat screen TV at home. You can pair a controller with it. Hi, Mom, it's Eric. I just wanted to see how you're doing. I saw the live stream. It looks great. You can pair your controller to it, Bluetooth controller, and play on the big TV. And then all of a sudden, you got to go out to the store, and you make your mom drive, and all of a sudden, you're playing Fortnite in the back seat still with your friends without any interruption.
Yeah, no interruption. It's awesome.
That is an experience that is freaking awesome. You know who tried to do that? Sony. And that's probably why they're really mad now and won't let cross-compatibility happen. But they tried this with the PS Vita because they added the 3G model that was like, go outside and play with your friends on the go. Well, that didn't work out so good for them. But this is the true. This is what's really cool about nowadays is that even exists. Yeah. Cross-compatibility has been a thing that should have happened such a long time ago. There are companies trying to stop it, like Sony's like all butthurt. It's like we don't want to associate with those Xbox people over there. Oh my God, you play a game on a PC? How dare you?
Yeah, no, I gotcha. But everything's working out, and even with Minecraft, specifically, you can get that game on. Well, the Apple TV, they only have still like an Apple TV edition, but I think they're gonna be working on a full version for the Apple TV.
They said they were.
But it is also, I think, right now available on Amazon's Fire Stick. So,
I meant to try that.
We have 2 Fire Sticks in the office.
We were supposed to give both of them away.
Yeah, we gotta give at least one away. So stay tuned for a future giveaway. It's not happening in this video though. Sorry guys.
Fun fact: the Amazon Fire Stick runs Android, and you can load other Android apps on that really easily.
Well, you can talk about that in another video. But the with cross-compatibility.
I thought we were gonna do that live right now, Eric.
No, not right now. But there's a lot of cross-compatibility that's working out. Obviously, games are starting to pursue it.
Yeah.
And, even productivity applications are starting to get it.
Yeah, they definitely
are. Of course, productivity like, Word documents
Excel,
and stuff. That's easy. But, I'm curious to see what the future is for video editing and photo editing. Our industry.
Very powerful.
Our industry. Because, I don't know what's fully available on Android right now, but if we could get a full version of Lightroom, Photoshop, and some video editor and whatnot, like Adobe Premiere, running off of your phone, that can then be hooked up to a desktop or monitor.
Yeah,
that's all of a sudden pretty awesome.
It really is super powerful.
It's an interesting.
I'm really disappointed that Apple is not going in that direction a little more, but I know why. Because in all reality, Apple has a decent computer market for all intents and purposes. It's not as big as Microsoft, but they have a market there. If they compete with themselves, they're taking away from their own market. Samsung has some laptops, but ultimately they are not a huge player in that industry.
No.
So instead, and they kind of failed at that. So instead of them going out there and saying we're going to make these new laptops and try to compete in a market that they're not really going to succeed, they're trying to change up the market and be like, what are we good at? We're good at making phones.
Yeah, no,
how do we make the phone and twist into this other market? It's a really smart move.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately it is the future. We'll just have to see how it pays off in the long run. I think it's going to happen. I just think it's going to be a slow, evolution to get to that.
It's working its way together, but it's going to be interesting because the reality is, even though you have an 8-core processor and stuff on this phone, water-cooled, it's still not going to be comparable to like some of the big desktops and whatnot that we have, especially for things like video editing.
You hear the train?
The train's freaking loud right now. That is very loud.
This is why you don't make your video studio.
Commercial break.
Hey, we don't have one of those ready. But this is why you don't put your video studio right across from train tracks.
No, but we made this mistake 2 times now because this is our 2nd time at this studio.
That is true.
But that's whatever. Regardless, though, I mean, video editing is a little more challenging because of the whole, big camera files and making proxies, multicam editing, etc., codecs and all that. Photo editing, though, is a lot easier to do.
There's a lot of people that do photo editing on their tablets, whether it's an iPad and Adobe Lightroom.
No, there is. I'm just waiting for some more, bigger apps to get in the game.
I don't know if Lightroom is on Android, though.
I would say whip out your Android phone right now, but we don't have one here. But I will say, one program I'm looking at kind of heavily, it's called Affinity, AFFINITY. They have a pretty awesome photo editing platform. I looked like it's only for the iPads. I don't really see it on. I don't see the full version or whatever on my iPhone right now.
FYI, Adobe Lightroom is on Android, and they also do have Photoshop and the other.
Yeah, it's not full versions, of course, but it's interesting. Now I will say it looks like Adobe is working on a full version of Photoshop to be launched next year. Of course, I don't really know what's specifically.
This
available.
Is very interesting. Adobe Premiere Clip.
I don't care about that.
How do you not care about that?
I've looked into that. It's very, very basic. So what he's looking at is Adobe Premiere Clip. It's a very, very light video editing app on Android as well as iOS. Honestly, it's very comparable, if not more dumbed down than iMovie on your phone. So video editing for sure needs to be improved, especially, on both platforms, iOS and Android.
Yeah.
There are some options, but, they're not competing with even a program like Final Cut Pro X, which is what we use right now for video editing. So, be interested to see how, obviously Final Cut Pro X will never go on Android. It's an Apple product.
It might go on an iPad.
It could go on an iPad the next year or two, but, of course we'll see. But, it'll be interesting to see if, Adobe comes out with a fuller version of Premiere.
In all reality,
it's a matter of time.
There's only one company that there's any hope for Android, and that is Adobe. Because, let's be honest, Final Cut eventually will come on an iPad.
At some point,
going to happen. And that's going to dominate and be the best video editing app on an iPad. And it's only because Apple's going to make it that way. They're going to optimize the hell out of it. It's going to work perfectly, just like it does on a Mac. And that's going to be that. The only company that has the skill set and the desire and the monetary motivation would be Adobe to make a really good editing app for Android and probably iOS as well. But it's it's going to be really your only choice on Android. There's going to just be crappy apps besides that. So Adobe, if you're listening, and obviously they are, because this is a great, very popular show. Get to work. I'm sure they already are working on it. Because look, they want the money. I guarantee you, they're working on their Adobe CC subscription suite to fully work on any device.
No, you're right.
It only makes sense for them to do it.
I'll be honest. I'm not a huge Adobe fan. In all reality, I prefer using Final Cut Pro X for video editing, and I have other programs such as Luminar and Affinity for my photo editing. I really am trying to stay away from Adobe. I personally don't like their subscription service with their products and all that. But with that said, if today they gave me the ability to do absolutely all of my photo editing and video editing on any device. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be a phone, though it should be on a phone, especially with the Samsung Galaxy Note 9 that can connect to an external monitor.
Like it will be on the phone.
It would have to be on a phone as well.
Yeah, it's just going to be.
But I would go right to Adobe at that point. I don't care what learning curve I would have. I would honestly have to do it.
Yeah, and think about this. The way their model works and the way this would work, it's going to work the same way that Office 365 did, where it's not like a purchase on the phone. It's a free app on the phone, but to use it, you have to log in.
Yeah.
So you'd pay their $50 a month. You'd have access to all the programs on your computer. You have access to all the programs on your phone. It is a fantastic, and at that point, you got to realize it's such a good price for all the stuff you get. And if, some people may not use it all, but if you get the whole, but I mean, it's even to just have like Adobe Acrobat is a great program to just have when you got to work with a PDF and things like that.
You're entirely right.
But they do Acrobat. They do have a great version of that on iOS and Android. If you ever do need a PDF editor, FYI. But yeah, that's the way it'd work. It would be totally worth it. I'm right on board with you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're working on it. It's just a matter of getting hardware that's powerful enough to do all that. Hey, your water cooling Samsung Galaxy Note 9 might just do the trick in all reality.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I will say one other thing though is what's going to be interesting is the fact that eventually Final Cut Pro X will probably come to at least the iPads, and because the iPad's such a huge product compared to even a Note 9. Or Note 10, 12, whatever we're at the time, the reality is we can probably get higher end hardware on the iPads. So you're gonna have a faster processor than compared to a phone. Hypothetically speaking, of course. But even so, they get Final Cut Pro X on an iPad. What are your limitations gonna be? Because I don't care how fast the hardware is. If I'm editing on only a 12-inch iPad, that's fine, as long as I have all the features and whatnot I need. But having multiple screens is fantastic. I don't know if Apple's going to allow multiple screens on something like their iPads.
Yeah.
But on a Note, I could potentially have
at least like
I could get a couple monitors.
Now, I will say
if Adobe Premiere or whatever comes out on Android.
I will say this much, and I don't know what this means, but real quick, we were talking about performance and video editing. I want to look at the Geekbench scores for this phone.
All right.
If you don't know what Geekbench is, it's essentially an application that's on computers, tablets, whatever, pretty much every device out there, which will score things like the processing power, RAM speeds, kind of just an overall score. The multi-core score, which is what you're going to want to test in these situations, for the Samsung Galaxy Note 9 was 8,876. You know what it is for the iPhone X? 10,357. So the iPhone X is actually still faster. You also know what else is faster? The OnePlus 6 Android phone at 9,088. To give you some more context, the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus is at almost 8,300. So it's a little bit faster than the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus, but actually slower than the OnePlus 6, which is a somewhat newer phone that just came out Android, and the iPhone X.
Now, is there any single score tests? That's what I'm curious on. So
no, but this is another test here where, again, the iPhone won by a decent bit of margin.
That's interesting. That's also unfortunate, but
display brightness. Display brightness. There you go. If you care about brightness, the Samsung Galaxy Note 9 won by quite a bit. It's a lot bright. It's actually a decent bit brighter than the iPhone X and the OnePlus 6. And well, actually, it's not as bright as the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus, though.
No, I gotcha.
So this is definitely interesting. But anyway, the bottom line is that these people did this, and they said the iPhone X is better. So we can end the video now.
We can end the video. Don't
go
buy
with
any
Apple.
Samsung.
Yeah, not as good. And again, these tests mean, not a lot. These are all synthetic tests,
I was gonna say,
real-life examples and situations.
It really... Tests especially, iOS versus Android, which are very different platforms.
Yeah.
It is hard to run, simple tests. And the reality is, even if the Note 9 scored a crap ton higher, it would still question, is actually as snappy as it should be, because you're all up to optimization within the OS.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
And realistically, there's a lot more going on an Android phone than an iPhone. In all reality, it's honestly comparing apples to oranges.
No, it really is. And what's also, hypothetically saying, if these tests are pretty accurate, despite Android versus iOS and all that, this product just came out.
Just.
Apple's coming out with a new phone in next month or two. And you best bet that phone's going to be even faster than your X.
You know what I will say? I know, though, again, scores synthetic, it doesn't really show the whole real-world example, but I will say one thing. Just to show how far ahead Apple is, they still have the most powerful phone on the market, which is almost a year out of date already. Samsung just released their next-gen phone. Apple hasn't yet, and the current iPhone is still more powerful than their latest gen phone.
No, you're right.
So, I mean, again, I know we're somewhat biased here in some regards, but it is a fact. It is the numbers; they don't really lie. And that's not saying anything about Samsung. They're doing good. I mean, there's more Samsung phones out there than iPhones by far. So
the only other question is, and it could be a stupid question, but is the Geekbench software ready to be used on the S9? Maybe there's some weird compatibility driver problem.
See, I'm
probably overthinking it.
Yeah, I think you're overthinking it
at
that point, because when it comes to these any type of software apps that run these devices, they don't actually access the hardware at all. There is same way with applications on a computer. There are what's the best term to kind of describe this? I guess there's interfaces, if you will, like DirectX, for example, which is an interface that helps utilize more hardware power for a certain task. The gaming DirectX is a good example. There's kind of the equivalents. I think with iPhone, it's called like Metal, where you can access for game. Again, gaming's one of those things you want more of that power for tasks.
Metal 2 or will be Metal 2 or something. I forget.
Android's got its same type of system, so that doesn't change no matter what phone you're using. So in all reality, that really shouldn't do it. And there are also other phones that use those same chipsets. So
listen, I'm just trying to give Samsung an edge, but you're just blowing me out of the water here with the Samsung Samsung Galaxy S or no.
There is an edge. Yeah, there was.
Yeah, but we're not talking about the edge in this video.
Look, you can get technical. I'm more of a technical person, but realistically, the people who buy this phone are not going to be. And the bottom line is, if you get the bottom line is, at the end of the day, if you get this phone, you're going to be happy with it for the most part. If what you want is a stylus, and what you want is a big ass phone, big battery life comes with that. And I will say the best thing about my Samsung Galaxy Notes, and this is years ago when battery life was still a huge issue with phones, I will say the Notes last forever. I regularly got
all-day battery life.
Yeah, I regularly got 2-3 days out of my phone at times, which was crazy back then. Because you got to think about back then, you'd barely get through a day on your smartphones. So that's a huge benefit. Quick other things I want to touch on real fast, if you don't mind, is I want to talk about Bixby 2.0.
Yeah, so if you want to know anything else about the any other things that Samsung announced, I'm checking out to get this in a second camera working so that we can do a quick walk around. Then when we're done here,
that's true. Okay,
Trevor,
I'll take over. Okay. Hi, how you doing? My name's Trevor. You're cute. Anyway.
Trevor's acting weird now.
Anyway, So, Bixby. So, I don't like Bixby. I told you my story earlier about Bixby and why I dislike it. Bixby 2.0 hopefully is going to be a lot better. They're taking a lot of things out of the Siri and Alexa handbook in all reality, which is not a bad thing by any means. There's none of these assistants are good in all reality. Siri is very limited. Bixby was less limited. Google Now, if they still call it that, is decent. But Alexa is still the best in all reality. So I think Bixby has a long way to go, but Bixby 2.0, I don't really, besides improving stuff, I'm just looking here if it has any other set features. I do know it has better customize and control for third-party developers, so that's very powerful too. One issue I do have, and I complain about this with Apple CarPlay, is that you can't, at least right now, the current Apple CarPlay, it has very limited support for third-party apps. I know the next version, Apple CarPlay 2, which is going to come out in a few months, I know that will have much better support for third-party apps. But that's very important, especially when you're trying to dictate something with the Apple CarPlay. It's like, hey, play Sirius XM channel whatever, and it's like, I can't currently do that. It's literally what it says. So added support is really important. So that's a big thing. Bixby also has better language processing, faster response times, built-in noise reduction technology, which is important, and ultimately should be able to understand you much better than its current revision. Hopefully it works a lot better, because I really was unhappy about it in the past. One thing I am not going to get over is specifically the fact that you have... But I think I really won't get over is specifically the button. I can't tell you how many times I click the button, it accidentally opens Bixby, and it takes a second for it to load, and you're stuck there. It's like all I was trying to do was Google how to make a chicken sandwich or something. It's a very annoying thing. As far as other things at the Samsung event, it was announced about the Fortnite thing we already talked about. Samsung has a new watch. If anyone cares about that, trying to compete with the Apple Watch, but again, nothing really surprising there. It's kind of what you expect. And then that last thing with Bixby 2.0 still mentioned, they're making like a smart home type thing, which again is not really a surprise as everyone does that now. Google does that, Apple does that, Amazon does that. You coming back over?
I don't know. I might.
Did you get the camera working?
So the camera is working at this point. You'll be the one that has to walk in front of the camera though because of audio, but I do have it working.
Do you want the lav? I'll give you the lav.
I mean, I will gladly take the lav if you want.
That's all right.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, granted, there is a microphone on the camera.
Yeah, but I don't know if is it even working.
It works. Yeah, I see it moving.
No, it is working.
Yeah.
All right. So then I can be in front of the camera.
You could if you wanted to be.
Well, you did the last studio tour, so I
last year you can do the studio tour,
even though it's very brief. But
regardless, you know, again, it's not unexpected to see them trying to get into that market. My biggest thing I will say is Bixby 2.0 better be good if they're going to get in the smart home market with a smart speaker, because in all reality, they got to compete with Google, which is doing good, with Amazon, which is doing better, with Apple, which is doing something. That would be my official stance on all three of those platforms and where they're at. So look, that's where I'm going to stand with that. And look, I'm not going to say much of an opinion about either the watch or Bixby 2.0 or any of the products that may go along with that until I get a chance to actually play around with them.
No, of course.
Because Samsung has a bad reputation for this. So I had a Samsung watch. It was the Gear 2, I want to say. I believe that was what it was called. Now, there were some cool things about this watch. It had infrared built into the watch, so you can control TVs. I had an app on it that would, it literally, because you could download third-party apps. So it would cycle through every TV code to turn off every TV around you. So I would go literally into like Longhorn Steakhouse or something, or something like that, and click that button, and it would take like 30 seconds to turn all the TVs off in the bar.
Throwback to
so much fun.
I said throwback to back in the day where, you know, they used to make, before like smartwatches stuff became a thing, they used to have TV remote watches, but you would have to like type in the code for the TV that you wanted to turn off, change the volume, whatever.
You don't do that at all anymore.
I used to actually have one, and I had the funnest time going places. But especially nowadays, it's a lot harder because now you have, you know, the cable boxes.
Well, a lot of times these are like smart
so.
remotes too. Like the remote for our Sony Bravia television has Bluetooth built into it, so you can't lose that remote.
Yeah.
We did lose it for like a week or two. Unfortunately, it was in the couch cushion. We didn't know where it was, and it was kind of held because you really need that remote. All these. Even our cable box remotes are Bluetooth built in now.
That's
so
nice.
like you have to, which is great because you don't need to like make sure you're pointing in the right direction and things like that. You just click the button. It's under the blanket, whatever. Just click the button, it works. Pretty cool. Actually, we have Dish, and that has a cool feature where if you lose the remote, you can click a little button on the receiver and it makes the remote beep.
So as long as it has battery life, that is pretty sweet. So guys, that was the Samsung event that happened yesterday, August 9th, 2018. This is our, I guess, informal news show to discuss, you know, our opinions and whatnot about those products, talk a little about the products. Let us know if you guys are interested at all in any of these Samsung products. I mean, I'm still a little bit skeptical, but there are some things with the Note 9 that I am rather interested in. I'd love to get my hands on it. I don't think I'd make it my daily, you know, driver, if you will.
That's how I feel.
But I would still love to try it. It would be really interesting nonetheless. I mean, honestly, my favorite feature with it is the stylus. The Note series has always been the stylus for me, but it's, and I guess also the whole desktop thing. But it comes down to practicality.
You can do the desktop thing on other Samsung phones as well.
And the stylus is on other things too.
Yeah, and on other Android phones. Now, granted, I will say, you can put stylus on other devices, but this stylus it's meant for, and the screen's meant for it, and it's meant for. It's much better than your generic stylus.
No, you're right.
So I want to emphasize that. But on other Android phones, including like let's just say the S9 Plus or S9, even on my S8 I plugged that into a monitor too, and you can still do those same kind of features.
Yeah.
So it's not unique to the Note. I feel like the Note's
refining
it. It's a great point. They're refining it, and I feel like Android overall is doing that. Google's going to be working on that if that's the direction they all want to go. I guess that's yet to be determined.
Yeah.
And look, it also depends how good this phone sells. So if this phone sells and a lot of people are doing things like that, then all of a sudden that will be pushed more. Ultimately, I don't really think that's going to happen. Look, Samsung has 2 phones people care about, and they have a lot of phones that people can afford but don't care about. The Samsung Galaxy S whatever phone and the Note series are the 2 that people care about, but specifically the Notes have never sold great. People care about them because they're the flagship phone that have all the latest and great. Look, this phone has freaking water cooling. I mean, I'm not going to get over that.
Oh my gosh.
But at the same time, you know, practicality comes around, and honestly, you'd be better off probably getting a Samsung Galaxy S9, or maybe not even that phone, maybe something even lower end, you know, if you don't need what all that has to deliver. So it is yet to be determined how this phone does. I definitely think this is a unique Note. I think does offer quite a bit of upgrades from the last one. But I didn't even realize there was a last one. I really didn't. But hopefully it doesn't blow up. If it does, hopefully the built-in water cooling will help.
You know, hopefully we get the Note 9 in here. Hopefully it blows up in here. It's captured on video.
Yeah.
You know, we'll get it in slow motion, and all of a sudden we'll make millions of views. I think that's a.
We'll make millions of views.
We will receive millions of views.
We'll receive millions of views and make millions of dollars.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Just like Unbox Therapy's Ben test, I think, on the back
if
the
we're
going
to compare ourselves to Unboxing Therapy, why don't we just get like 1,000 iPhones, give them away?
Did that actually ever happen? I remember him making a video, but then there is problem.
This is new. No.
Breaking news, guys.
This is new, so I'm qualifying this to be on the news show.
All right.
I like Unbox Therapy for the most part. He's not my favorite YouTuber, and I've not liked him as much recently.
His style has changed.
Yeah.
And, you know,
well,
that
the reason I don't like him, in all reality, his legitimacy. I can't talk. His legitimacy has been questioned because of things just like this iPhone giveaway. Many people speculate, and big YouTubers speculate, that those were just a lot of empty iPhone boxes that he received, and not actually iPhones. Because let's just think, he had I think actually it was 10,000 iPhones. I actually thought it was.
It was, regardless,
he made
1,000,
it bigger,
10,000.
But let's pretend it's 1,000. It was a minimum of 1,000 iPhones. And let's just realistically say at the time, baseline iPhone, I forget what iPhone it was.
Maybe like 800?
I was going to even be nice at 600.
All right,
so let's say 600.
Let's say 600 be nice.
That's $600,000 worth of iPhones. And I don't mean, and look, this is a rich guy in all reality. He's a big YouTuber. He's had some huge success after the whole Bengate thing. That video has 100 million views on it. Yeah. $600,000 for a giveaway, I don't think that's going to be covered under your tax write-off for the year for donations.
At the same time, I'm sure there.
And he never did give. By the way, he never gave them away. He gave away like 2 of them, but people literally never received them. So that was another thing that happened with that. He never actually talked about it. It just kind of got blown under the rug. People forgot, and that's where he. It was now,
I'm sure. Okay, so I could be speculating. I mean, I am speculating.
I'll let him know. I'll let you guys know.
I'm getting another phone call.
Is your mom
from the wife?
You can answer a phone call. It's fine.
Nah, it's all right.
I would love for you to answer a phone call.
No, I'm all right.
If someone were to call me, I would answer.
All right. Regardless, I'm sure that there was also some, you know, partnership and whatnot that he was trying to work out with this whole iPhone giveaway thing that fell through. I'm sure it wasn't solely just
it's a huge
him.
Benefit of the doubt, but I'm pure speculation.
But yeah, you never know. But it's interesting nonetheless. Regardless.
You know what he was? He was just one of those eBay sellers that, you know, say they have like an iPhone, but you don't read the fine print iPhone box. Just don't read the fine print iPhone poster.
Accurate, very accurate. With that said, though, I think that's our Samsung coverage for today. Stay tuned. Starting Monday, we will be getting right back into the news show. With that said, though, I think I want to do a very brief, you know, studio walkthrough. I'm actually going to have you do this.
Oh, wow.
So you can do the quick studio walkthrough.
Okay.
Because I'll be doing the official ones. Make sure you turn up the log.
So I'm doing the unofficial one. You're doing the official one.
Yep.
Okay,
yep,
well, get the camera ready because I got to make some changes here if I remember how to do this.
Alrighty.
Okay. So you should be able to hear me now, and I'm going to do that. And let me just make sure before I get up and make sure this is... Okay, we're good. The lav's working.
Perfect. So
okay.
We have a bit of a...
I love that using this camera.
Old camera that can be really far away.
This is a really old camera. So this is Studio A, okay? This is where we do most of our shooting at. What are you looking? Can it even see me? It's dark. You can't. Okay.
It's a bit dark.
Go over here. It's because the lights are. Oh, that's much better. Okay, this is Studio A. Okay, we'll close the door. This is Studio A. So in Studio A, we got our TV set up here for gaming that we've never done. We got our famous desk set right here, which we did the show at today, which you've seen a lot of videos. Our wall of lights over here, our lighting setup's a little insane at this point. I don't know where you're going to be able to go this way. Right. But here's our green screen setup, which you have seen, well, every single time you watch the new show. It's been filmed right here on this wall right here. You really have to go that far back to even get the shot. So look at all these lights. Let's count the number of lights for a second. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 lights in here. And that's not including like LED lights and other lights and whatever else. This is the corner that we don't talk about but needs to be done something with soon. Hey, this is a new camera. Panasonic camera. Okay, I guess that's it for here. I mean, I don't know what else to say.
I turned it to manual exposure now, so I don't have a problem.
Oh, now it's actually working okay? Here's our door. I stained this.
Yeah, it's not
Though I had help, I would be yelled at if I said I stained this by myself. Other people helped. Okay, here's our hallway, which we don't really talk about either because it always has a bunch of junk in it. That's Eric's fault.
Well, actually, going back here, it's very messy.
Can I turn these on? Yeah. Okay. So here's our hallway. Again, stuff just laying everywhere like it shouldn't be. But here, this is not too bad if you come in here. This is our radio podcast studio. So here, I'll come over here. So be like, hello guys, welcome to the radio show. We have not done much in here yet, but this is definitely going to improve soon. We've got a lot of stuff coming up. So that's that. Eric's doing a great job here. Here's our gear closet, which we also don't talk about. Actually, in all reality, we have to make a big priority to get this place cleaned up. Actually, the entire place. Okay, can I just say something? Eric has a problem. When he opens something, whether it's like something like this or a drawer, well, you are a very busy person today, Eric. You're going to make someone really mad soon. He doesn't know how to close things. Look at this. He didn't close that. What is this? Eric came in here to get some duct tape, and he doesn't close it. Sorry, ranting. But this is our back part of our office here. You can hear the train going by maybe once again. This is supposed to be our kitchen area, but it's invaded by computers. Eric is totally following me without actually looking. Here's our desk area. This is Eric's mess right here, because Eric always has the messier desk. Our air conditioner, which is almost as broken. Bags on the floor, which really shouldn't be there. Here's my desk. It's the most clean desk, but it actually is still not real clean right now.
It is very messy.
But I have the nicest monitor. Ultra wide Dell monitor, so I redeem myself. Dual monitor, it's the freaking MacBook in your monitor. Oh, here's our window so you can see out into the studio that we just were at. Not too bad, not too bad. So honestly, that is the studio tour in all reality. Am I missing anything as Eric's tripping over the vacuum?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I don't even know if they can really hear you that well, but.
No, I don't think they can.
But that is the studio tour. Good job, Eric. Good job. Good job.
Thanks.
Okay. Okay, now I gotta change microphone. Hold on. Okay. There we go.
All right, we're back
We're back.
at the desk with the.
That's not bad for that old camera.
No.
And fun
no.
fact about that camera. I think is it true the reason why you got this specifically was because I had one, or did you randomly get it?
So I mean, the fact that you had it definitely intrigued me a little more because I really had no idea what camera I wanted to get. At the same time, this is was like a $500 camera back in the day.
I know I paid more than that. I can tell you I paid like $800 for it.
I got it for $250.
Got it for $250?
I got a bargain.
But you got it like a year after me though, didn't you? Like I had it.
Yeah, but even now they still go for a decent amount of money. But I got an insane discount, brand new at PC Richard & Son.
PC Richards has some good deals. To give some context, I got this camera. It was my first good camera I got. And I wish I knew the year. Maybe 2012 or 13 or something like that. It may not be. No, I guess it is probably that old at least. You know what I got it from? I graduated from middle school.
Okay.
And my grandma gave me a significant amount of money. I think it was like $1,000. So I went to Best Buy. I wanted to get a new camera. I picked this one. It was like an $800 camera. I remember that's what it was. So it was new for the time, but And back in the day, they were really good cameras. I mean, even the video shot you just saw, it was definitely not terrible by any means. I wish I could have used my much nicer 4K Sony camera, which, by the way, is working right now. You know, as you can see, it's just sitting there doing nothing.
No, it's this camera.
Oh.
It literally is. This is your Sony.
Yeah, that's the Sony. It's working.
As soon. Wait, it's over. It's over there.
Yeah, it's working now.
You're not gonna even show them. You're not gonna show them my view.
Hold on, I just want to make sure that this is not set so they can still hear. Okay, it is. Okay, just want to make sure. There you go. There's the Sony.
Right over there. Anyway, shaky video.
There's the video feed from it.
But that is that. And this needs a wider angle lens. So does that one in all reality.
I have my wide angle lens, but
yeah, but for your other camera, that's incapable of doing this. Ooh. Anyway, guys, that is the live show for today. I hope you enjoyed it for the one viewer we have, but
we had that one video consecutively the whole show.
Not that obviously, we don't know who the viewer is, so
not at all.
Viewer, thanks for watching. Hopefully we get some more views though when the recording goes up. Regardless, guys, that is the live show today. Stay tuned. Hopefully we'll be doing more in the future, but also stay tuned for Monday's show. Be back with the new show with Trevor at the green screen, complaining.
Of course, I'm gonna do it.
Complaining that I am not here. That's all I gotta say. You can finish up the live show.
Okay. Well, now that it's just me and you, uno on uno. Uno on uno. I don't know if that's right. I just want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure if you like this video, make sure you go subscribe and you like and you comment and do all that stuff. I had a static camera out there so I could see Eric on purpose, but then he brought all the cameras in here, so he literally moved all the cameras in here. Now I want to see what he's doing. But anyway, that is it for today. Until next time. No, you weren't really gonna do that, were you? Seriously. Look what he has. No, he wasn't gonna do that. That'd be terrible.
How much is
that would be so bad. Literally, he just comes in here with this thing like he's gonna actually use it. Wow. That was a little scary. I thought he was actually gonna do it. Wow. Now I'm afraid to end this because what else he can do to me? I want proof. Oh God.